Hi, I'm Maria.
And I'm Scout.
And welcome to another episode of We're Just Doing Our Best.
Because that's what we're doing. Yeah, welcome back. We hope you guys enjoyed our last episode. Hopefully we look a little bit more normal today, but it was super fun. We had a blast making it, and we can kind of just jump right in. Do you know what the national day is today?
I do, but I won't. Go ahead, introduce it.
So it's National Chicken Soup for the Soul Day.
Okay.
Yeah, so very exciting. Do you have any memories of chicken soup?
So my mom never made chicken soup when it was cold or sick. There's this Middle Eastern soup that you it's like mini noodles that you put in a liquidy type of tomato paste thing or watery substance, but it's soup. I don't know how to describe it, but they cook it up, it's hot, and that's what we eat.
Oh, okay. So you're not really a chicken noodle soup fan?
No,
never
honestly. I never grew up with it, but I fear you have.
Yeah, I mean, my mom did not make me chicken noodle soup. I was definitely not, I didn't get the homemade chicken noodle soup. I got the Campbell's,
Nice.
Which is basically just salt in a hot substance.
Sodium is great.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. I've actually what's really cool about this day is I just recently discovered something last week that Trader Joe's chicken noodle soup is actually really good.
Is it? I always see it. I just never gravitate towards it because I don't know, something about store chicken soup looks fair. Suspicious sometimes.
No, that's totally fair. But it's actually it's really I looked it up. It's pretty healthy for you.
Okay.
Has a pretty high protein content.
Right.
For soup. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
It's you didn't try it, or did you try it already?
No, I have tried it.
Oh, okay,
but I'm excited. It's basically just one of those things that either when I'm sick, I'll just have.
Yeah.
Or if I'm super lazy and don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I can just
I didn't realize how
it
hard it is, honestly, to make chicken noodle soup from scratch.
Yeah, no,
it takes a long time.
Well, especially if you're gonna do it from scratch.
Yeah.
Are you making the noodles too?
I mean the process, the cooking the chicken and whatnot, and the broth and all that. I feel it takes a while.
No, it'd be a lot. I would love to have someone who will make me some. No takers.
No takers.
Yeah, it's been a long day, but I do think it's a really fun day because I feel a lot of people do have really nice memories of chicken noodle soup. I will say though, it's one of those things that's really interesting. I feel you mostly have it when you're sick, but I've had foods that when I'm sick and then I eat it when I'm sick, then if I eat it when I'm not sick, it makes me feel sick.
Oh,
did you track that?
I got it. Do I understand it? No.
I don't know. I guess if no one else feels that way, but sometimes there are certain foods that I purely eat when I'm sick, and so if I eat it when I'm not, it reminds me of that moment. But maybe that's just me. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's nice. I think that something that was really sad for me is once I went into college, my mom used to take even though she wasn't making me chicken noodle soup, she would fully take care of me when I was sick. I didn't have to do anything, and so going into college and being in a dorm and literally having to feed myself when I was really sick was a huge bummer for me.
No, I know.
It was terrible.
I miss being babied, honestly. Aging is not fun.
No,
but I think that's the one thing I miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of college season right now.
Yes.
And so kind of the main thing that we wanted to talk about today, other than chicken noodle soup, is college applications. It's basically application time.
It's time.
I'm trying to think back to application time for me. It was it feels so long ago.
Yeah.
But we kind of wanted to talk about applications, give some advice, maybe put a little bit of our own perspective into it.
Yeah. I think college applications, as grueling as it is and as stressful as it can be, there's so much resources that you can utilize these days, people, websites, things like that.
Yeah.
And although it's still hard and still stressful, I think that as each year passes, it kind of becomes a little not easier, but doable.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I feel I don't know. I have been seeing a lot of stuff just about this year in particular of how it is actually much harder for students this year.
Oh.
Just with the timing of COVID, a lot of students are talking about the fact that they didn't have as much extracurriculars during their time in high school. And so I do know that some kids are being a little bit more frustrated this year of just figuring out the application process. There's been a lot of FAFSA issues, but I do agree with you. There are so many things now that can help you not only with crafting your essay, but just being able to fill out the application itself.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like schools are hopefully constantly getting a little bit better with like kind of like college help in general.
Right.
But also like I do understand that like college counselors have so many students that they have to do. Like sometimes it's just
Yeah.
really hard for them to be able to give you like all of the adequate resources.
I mean, in high school, did you have like a specific counselor that dealt with college, or was just your counselor for your last name? Because that was me. I just had a counselor
Oh,
for
you
my
just had a
last name.
counselor?
Yeah.
We technically had a college
Oh,
counselor
okay.
specifically, but she covered the entire school. So you could also
Oh.
go to your counselor if you wanted to. Like I
Yeah.
still talk to my like last name counselor,
Mm-hmm.
but we did have a college counselor, and she was the one that like scheduled all of like the colleges coming in to like talk
we
to
didn't have
students.
that.
Oh, you didn't have
We
that?
didn't have that.
Oh.
Our counselors did that. So it's like they kind of just had to deal with everyone.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But I feel like it wasn't as like, you know, useful advice, because it was just like they're giving the generic things that they're finding on Google and like,
Yeah.
you know, the pamphlets that they have as counselors. So I hope that they're, you know, hiring more college counselors, at least like, I know, for my high school at least.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like, it's just so much work. Is there anything that you would have done differently during your college application process?
Honestly, I think like just did, like, I wish I did more research on the colleges that I wanted to go to, and just like the, like, the curriculum of all the colleges and like what it takes to kind of be successful in those specific colleges. I think at from like a like far glance, we look at them as like, okay, how will I have the best next 4 years of my life? And then you don't actually look at, okay, but I have to take these classes for this major, and like maybe I'm not that good at it, or like maybe this is like too expensive, or like where will I live and things like that. Like we don't do enough research.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something that I wish I did. But it is hard. I think it just adds to the already grueling process, which I understand.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I actually completely agree. I didn't apply to a lot of colleges, and like I
Yeah.
also didn't visit any of the colleges that I applied to until after I got in. Which I do think was really interesting. I think that I got really lucky because I would not change the college that I went to at all.
Right.
But I do think that the application process, not knowing as much about the colleges, was kind of a lot. But I also do think that in some ways it was like kind of nice because I just focused on my applications, and then once I got in, I got to look at the colleges, and like I didn't fall in love with a college that like then I didn't get into.
Yeah.
But like I definitely do think that you should like research way more. Like it was very interesting for me, like the college that I decided to go to, like I wish that I had researched a little bit about one of the majors that I wanted to do, because then like I got there and realized that like the major actually didn't focus. It was like a major that focused on a large region.
Right.
And turns out they don't actually focus on the part that I wanted to focus on, even though it was like in the name.
Okay.
Which then actually caused me to kind of petition and actually get a major that focused on it more, because it was an issue that a lot of people had, because everyone coming in interpreted it wrong. Like we got so many signatures, and it was genuinely from students who like also thought the same.
Do you feel like that would have had like a effect on your decision if you knew?
Oh gosh, I
mean,
mean,
like you didn't want to kind of petition and do all that extra?
I mean, maybe. I will say though, something like when I first applied to colleges was thinking of like a journalism major, and the school that I went to didn't have that.
What?
So like I did like, yeah, like technically they didn't have a specific journalism major.
Okay.
At first I thought that because you can, in most schools, you can kind of do your own independent study, or like at least at our school, you can kind of create your own major.
Oh, that's so nice.
Individually. Like the major that then one of the majors that I then did was, it wasn't a create your own. They literally put it in the curriculum because of our signatures.
Okay.
But I do think that it's interesting because, like, I think it was a ways of pros and cons. Like, some of the other schools did have the major that I was looking at, which was journalism, but I didn't like the school as much. And, like, the rigor for the journalism major at those specific schools wasn't exactly what I was looking for. And it actually worked out perfectly because I still was able to, like, do journalism for, like, my school job and, like, work at the newspaper. But I actually like preferred the major that I got into. So I just think it's interesting because I fully do believe that like you should do as much research as possible and like find out the things that you really want. But it's also kind of important to acknowledge that like things can definitely change.
100%. You just have to be like a chameleon. You gotta, you know, be able to adapt to all the changes and like like you changed it yourself. You know,
Yeah.
you were like, I don't like this. I can do something about it.
Yeah.
So let me go petition, change the class. And now it's like an actual course or like an actual major that, so is like your name associated with that?
No, that would be crazy. No, that would be insane. It was also like other teachers. Like it was kind of like a long time coming. I just think it's like a cool example of something that like, because I think that this question is really interesting, or like just the conversation of like how much you should research schools, because there's also then the side of research that I think I countered more into a little bit that wasn't just like major wise. Like obviously it's really important for at least the subject or area that you want to be at your school. Like if it's not there at all, like my thing was I was like, journalism isn't here, but like there is a politics major that's I would say very similar, like, you know, like I still got a lot out of that. And so I guess it's more also just like weighing like how much you should weigh obviously like the education part, and how much you should weigh like the actual school itself, the culture around it, the size, what you want, where you want to live. Like honestly, those are really important aspects.
The extracurriculars, like even if you didn't have a major that related to journalism, I know you still worked at your paper.
No, exactly.
So things like that, there's always a bright side. So if you really would, like if you want to, you know, prioritizing going to the specific school and it doesn't have like the major that you want or like the specific program that you want, and you still want to kind of experience that life, there's always a upside to it. However, which one do you prioritize?
No, I know.
That's a really big question, and it's a complicated thing, and I think it's different for everyone.
No, yeah. I think that you can kind of find everything. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of regrets with my college applications. I think that obviously, like, probably in the moment I was like, could have started doing them sooner.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's everything. Like there's never been one time where I'm like, wow, I really did that just perfectly on time. Like I was not stressed at all. I didn't procrastinate at all.
Because they bring it up, like our counselors bring it up like junior year, and then we're like, oh, we have so much time. Yeah. And then it's like winter semester of your last year in high school, and you're like, wait, why didn't I start sooner? I mean, like you start like in fall, but still.
I think that we're going to move on. We're going to take a little break from the college stuff, but then we have something really exciting after Citlalli's Hypothetical.
So, if you were to wash your brain, would you use hot or cold water, and why?
I don't know if I'm going to like out myself on this one. When I shower, I take like boiling hot showers. Yeah. I don't know if this is like a girl thing, but I feel like girls are are better adapted to certain temperatures. So I cannot take a cold shower. I think I would take a hot brain shower. I don't know why. I think that'd be gross, and I think that would hurt. But cold? I don't know. Cold would hurt. I feel like cold would hurt me more just because I'm not used to it. But I know cold would be more refreshing. You know? It's a system shock. Honestly, maybe it would make me smarter if I just washed with cold water for a change. Go ahead, Scout. I feel like you're thinking about this one.
No, I know. I'm thinking about it a lot. I'm gonna out myself even like worse, I think. Okay.
Oh, she takes cold.
So like long story short, this is what it's gonna remind me of. There is a specific scene in Harry Potter. In the books.
Do I know the scene? Oh no.
Where Harry has to put like a disillusionment charm, or Mad Eye Moody puts a disillusionment charm on Harry. So like when they leave his house to go to Grimmauld Place, like people can't see him as much. And the way that Harry Potter, like the way that it's narrated is that it feels like a cool like drip all the way down his body. And I've always thought that sounds really cool. Yeah. And it's like almost like a shiver. And like honestly, like I really like that sensation of like a shiver. And so I think it would be cold for me, because also like your brain is like mush. Like I think you'd melt your brain.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I feel like I can't melt it any more than it already is.
So like I think, but like, because like also like when they preserve brains, I'm assuming it's like in a colder substance.
Yeah, you have to be like a certain temperature for your body to preserve.
It needs to be mushy.
So why is that you outing yourself? Is it because you referenced Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
I don't know. Like that's just like, it's just what came to mind.
No, that's fair.
I don't know if that's like super, but like that's literally what came to mind as you were talking about like burning your brain. Like I was just thinking of that.
Oh, okay. Wait, what is yours? I think you're against me.
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think
thought.
majority, honestly, in the nicest way.
And I
like,
know,
think
everyone would be
Ice
against
bath,
me.
and you just put your brain into it. That sounds so
That
nice.
sounds so nice.
Yeah.
But like a hot tub.
No, like
You know?
also like
Think about a jacuzzi.
do you get migraines?
No.
Okay, so I think this is the thing. I used to get migraines all the time, like to the point where like one time I had to like go to the hospital and they had to give me like a bunch of shots just to like stop one.
Oh no.
If I could, while having a migraine, put my brain in cold water, I think that'd feel amazing.
Oh, I think you would just be cured.
Yeah.
You know.
Like ice your brain. It does sound great. That's actually a great. That's a
I feel like it depends what you're doing it for. Like, if you want, like, a shock to your brain system and, like, restart your brain, you probably want to do cold. But if you want to, like, relax your brain and calm it down, you probably do warm.
See, there's a difference. And you can have both.
I'm just thinking, but I'm like genuinely like thinking of the texture because like
Texture.
No,
Can
like
we not?
okay, so
How about no?
I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna like reference something else.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this
What
is
happened?
actually true,
Oh.
but it's just where I get most of my sound medical advice. I was watching a Grey's Anatomy
That's
episode.
what I thought.
I was watching a Grey's Anatomy episode. Maybe it was I don't know. It was some sort of doctor show. And I'm pretty sure that while you're giving an autopsy, you cannot cut into the brain initially.
Bird.
You cannot cut into the brain initially because if you cut into the brain without like it would literally like
It would just,
it would just
like
go
dissolve.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
to make sound cuts of the brain to study the brain, like you have to put it in like something. And so I'm literally thinking that like the hot water would literally just go
Yeah,
and then you're just like and then it's gone. It's like
But
you're,
this is
you're
a
dead.
theoretical. This is a theory. You know, our brain isn't gonna melt. Anyways, thank you, Citlalli. That was great. Thank you.
Have you ever had such a hot day where if you were to take an incredibly cold shower, it would not feel cold?
Okay, listen. Even when it's really hot, like 2 weeks ago, it was 110 where I live, and it was like 7:00. Like it was that hot, like at night. I go home, walk in, AC is blasting. I take a hot shower.
Okay, see that's the thing, because like when I lived in Walla Walla for school, none of our houses had AC.
Okay, that's fair.
And I never had AC, and so it'd be like 115.
It's a situational
And if you
thing.
put yourself in the shower at that time, like if you go from 115 and you go into the shower, I swear on my life, it will not feel cold. I would
Yeah.
take the coldest showers and not be cold at all. And the feeling of when you're super hot and then the cold water just goes on your head, amazing.
And I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, so something that we kind of wanted to do is I feel like a lot of people, I mean, like even you said, like schools didn't really come to your school to talk about it. So I feel like a lot of students don't really get the like sit down conversation with a college admissions counselor, basically giving them like the information. And so we did find a Reddit post from a college admissions counselor, basically going through how they look at your applications.
That's so nice. When was this posted?
Couple years ago, I would say. Yeah, like it's pretty new.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have loved to get you guys like an actual college admissions counselor, but alas,
The budget was low for this episode. Sorry.
we spent it on the chairs.
And the equipment.
Just kidding. What? No.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so it's gonna be a little bit long. We can also stop and kind of. We don't have to like. I'm not gonna read through the whole thing and then ask for your reaction. It's more just like this is going to be the last part of our episode where you have someone giving you advice that is in the field, and then two people who have also been through the process themselves, kind of reacting to that advice as we go on.
Yeah.
Come with me as I walk you through how I reviewed applications as an admissions officer. I worked at a super selective university and a public liberal arts college and have compared notes with friends and colleagues at many other institutions. I read anywhere from 15 to over 100 files in a day, depending on our goals, deadlines, and the strengths of applications, or how much coffee I had that day. After all, your goal is to grab my attention. If you're file number 47 for the day and I haven't had enough coffee,
Wait, what?
like you better bring it. you know?
That's not nice.
No, I mean, but it is like, it's just kind of like, it's the fact of
No, I
life.
get
Like
it.
the
It is.
applications, people are like human
She's
beings.
still a person. Yeah.
She's still a person. If she hasn't had coffee, like
She's gonna be tired.
you are susceptible to how her day's going.
I didn't think about that. That's
Yeah.
something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. AOs generally review 5 components. So these are going to be the 5. Academic achievement, standardized tests, caveat, some schools don't require that, so that would not be a part of it.
Right.
Extracurriculars, essays, and letters of recommendation. So let's take it from the top.
What?
Did you not have any letters of recommendation?
No.
I had a few. You
For
never
for
had teachers. You
college?
didn't have teachers like in high school, right, for your college?
I don't remember.
I feel like you may have, because I feel like majority of people at least had like one.
I feel like they weren't, at least for the schools I applied to, they weren't necessary.
No, that's fair.
Like I just applied to like the local ones here. Like I don't think SDSU required one,
Yeah, I don't know.
but I don't know.
We can fact check it.
You know, just blur everything I say out.
Okay, so let's take it from the top. Academic achievement. I would probably spend 1 to 2 minutes between your transcripts and test scores. So that's going to be like the quickest thing. The first thing that she tried to get a sense of was academic achievement. What courses were available to you at your school? So that's a huge consideration because if AP is not available, she's not going to count that against you.
Okay.
What classes did you take and how challenging were they? How did you do in those classes? When I'm looking at academics, I'm almost always drawing a comparison between a student and other applicants coming from the same school. So she takes, like she will, like if I applied to, if we went to the same high school, we both applied to her school,
Right.
she would be comparing us
I think that's
together.
fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
So don't worry so much if your school weighs GPA funny or only offers a couple APs because she's going to be comparing you with the
Comparing.
other applicants
Okay,
from those
good.
schools. You are reviewed based on what was available to you. Because like I have friends who were from very small rural areas. There were no APs.
Right.
They still got into great schools
Mm-hmm.
because you can't count, like that's just
You
would
can't count
be
that against
completely
them. That's not their
unfair.
fault.
An academic review will generally start with the usual suspect, GPA. Many schools recalculate GPA based only on core courses, math, science, English, social studies, and languages. Often, AOs will also have a list of students in the school in order of weighted GPA. They can even look at previous years of applicants to watch for trends or outliers.
Oh.
I would then count the number of AP, IB, DE, honors, etc. courses. AP and IB are generally seen as the most valuable simply because their curricula are standardized across schools. This count is the determining factor of rigor, which is one important variable in your overall academic achievement. Top schools want students who have taken the most demanding courses offered to them. Again, this is all the context of what your high school offers. Then if you're applying to a specific school or major within a university, I might check to see if you took a particular set of courses. For example, engineering applicants, I prioritize students who had taken physics. Physics C is offered, calculus, BC or higher is offered, and chemistry AP preferred. So that's basically the GPA portion. Standardized tests, then I would take a look at your standardized tests. This would be the shortest section because reviewing your test score takes literally 2 seconds.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Bottom line, you want to be at the higher end of your school's testing range. So she's going to look at your school, not necessarily like nationally.
Okay.
Demographic and parent info. Next, a short stop at the demographic section, literally just a few seconds, maybe 15. AOs will generally glance at your demographic data, gender identity, ethnicity, languages spoken, etc., and then move to the parent and family section for the things that might stand out. Like,
Like
a parent or sibling who attended the school that you're applying to, parents who did not attend college, a single parent household, or a household with a bunch of siblings.
Mm-hmm.
None of this information will drastically alter the AO's read of your file, but they will take it into context.
Right.
Next section, honors and awards. This section is a great place to list any specific accolades you've received. It's short and to the point and no room for extra detail. Save that for the additional information if you need it. So I do think that this is really interesting. Like she is very much like, do not stretch what you think an accolade and or award is. Because I feel like some people are like, I'm just going to put everything. She was like, there's a reason why there's an additional section.
Okay.
She was like, make sure that this is just what like actual awards you've received.
Oh.
So like at Vanderbilt, which was an admissions rate of 7%, seeing fairly common awards like a bilingual certification or a presidential award doesn't differentiate applicants. You should still include this stuff, but know that it's the state's national or international recognition that stands out the most for selective schools. But then when she was at Mary Washington, which is an admin rate of 70%, but she says was still an awesome liberal arts school, she took these more into consideration because frankly, in her opinion, the bar wasn't so ridiculously high.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's like based off of like there's certain awards that mean less?
I think it's the idea that at certain top schools, every single applicant is going to say that they've had a presidential award.
Okay.
And she's going to be like, okay.
Right.
But like at other schools, she might take it a little bit more into consideration.
It's probably like the region and stuff, like the
Yeah.
state, whatnot.
And she's more talking about like common awards. So like for example, like the presidential award is very common. So she's like, if you guys have more specific awards like to your state or like to your area, that's going to stand out more. Okay, so the next one is activity section, aka your extracurriculars. Now we're getting into the interesting stuff. By the way, I'm probably 90 to 120 seconds into reviewing your file at this point. So everything that we just said, she does it
Like a minute
in
and
2
a half?
minutes,
2 minutes?
basically. Yeah, like
Wow.
under 2 minutes, which is kind of crazy. Crazy.
That's kind of it's funny when you think about it. Like they put 4 years of work into that, and then it's only 90 seconds
No, I know.
of
It's
someone
crazy.
else's life.
Well, and I think that shows like the one thing that I will say is like she's going to spend more time on your personal stuff, which I do think is
Right.
good. Like obviously academic achievements are so important, but like I also do think it's good that she's not like they're just
She's not
also easier to
stressing.
read.
They're easier to
through.
read.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying like the entire application as a whole, like that's really like maybe
that was
2
your
minutes,
life.
3
Yeah.
minutes of someone else's life, but it was 4 years of
your
yours.
life. Yeah, that's so true. If someone in my office already reviewed your academics and I just have to check their work, she probably will get done with that section in 60 seconds or less.
Wow.
AOs are trained to move quickly, and you want them to spend the most time they have allotted to each application on the essays. You want me to spend less time on your transcript so I can spend more time on the holistic parts of your application, extracurriculars, essays, and recommendation letters. So that's why she was also explaining, like, there's a reason why there's, like, additional information slots. Like, make sure that you are to the point on your transcript. I expect your most relevant, impressive, or time-consuming ECs to be at the top of your list. So that's going to be your extracurriculars. It's helpful here to see numbers that help me understand the scope of your activities. How many dollars did you raise? How many people were on your team? How selective was the summer program that you attended? So instead of just being like, I was an intern or like I attended a summer program, like writing conference, it's like, well, how many people were selected out of how many applicants? I'll take a quick glance at the first ECs in your activity seconds, and within 10 seconds, I will have a pretty good sense if this is a standout file, average, or below average in our pool. So really important to put the top stuff first. A lot of reviewing a file in my experience is making a snap judgment, then reading more deeply to confirm or deny that judgment.
Oh, so she reads it multiple times?
Yeah, so I think it's the idea that like she kind of glances it, she gets a feel. She will then read through it to make sure that feel is correct. But like the first impression matters.
Right.
In a way.
Oh.
At a super highly selective school, if your extracurriculars are clearly only average or below average in the pool, I expect to review the rest of your file pretty quickly. The obligation to the university, the applicants, is supposed to spend the most time on the most viable files. So I think that we're getting a sense that extracurriculars are really important.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That differentiates you more than like anything else.
So now essays. We're 3 to 4 minutes into her reviewing your reviewing your application.
Yeah.
So time to read. In my experience, most good, average, okay, totally fine essays represent a missed opportunity to stand out. So she's like, if it's not good, she also sees it as like, you just missed your opportunity to impress me.
Oh, dang.
You want me to finish your essay feeling like I have a reason to want you on my campus. So what am I looking for? Lots of students miss the mark. Our goal as AOs was to evaluate students based on their personal achievements, background, and their school fit. So when I'm browsing through personal statements, supplementals, and perhaps additional information sections, I'm looking to quickly gauge your fit for the college community, writing skills, draw me with a nice hook, and make your essay interesting. AOs often called upon to be professional skimmers, making them want to learn more. Personal achievements. Ideally, I leave the read feeling like I want this student to be a part of my community.
Dang, that's scary.
Maybe it's obvious that you'll be great in research labs. Maybe you're an incredible fit for a pre-med program or classics major. Maybe your entrepreneurial venture could take off with our accelerated program. An AO's job is to connect the dots between what you tell them in their application and what our campus offers. Your job is to make their job easier. Additional information. Most students don't fill out the additional information section, and that's totally fine. This section can be great, though, if you need to add some additional context to your application that doesn't fit nicely in another section.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, if you don't put anything, it's like, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Unless you like have a bunch to offer, then like put it. Letters of recommendation, depending on how much your essays were skimmed, we're about 6 to 10 minutes in now. To be totally honest, most, not all recommendation letters are pretty generic and a bit lengthy. An AO is usually going to skim these to find nuggets of information that truly support your application. Teacher recommendations tell me what kind of a learner you are. I'll base a better sense on how you contribute in a classroom, work in a group, and what kind of effort you put forth in the school. These can be particularly helpful in solidifying if you're a fit for your chosen major. Counselor recommendations give more information on who you are in the context of your high school. How rigorous is your curriculum? Where do you fall into class academically? Even if your school doesn't rank, your counselor might point me in the direction of, or sometimes outright tell me, where you are stacked against your classmates. And so now that's it. Congrats. You just spent 10 to 15 minutes reading an application like an AO. 1 down, 2,000 to go.
Dang. Unrelated. 2,000 is crazy. Wow.
So I feel like if I were, I mean, do you have any like initial thoughts?
I think it's super helpful. I think initially, if I was like senior in high school and I was reading that, I think I would be really intimidated just because it's like, again, like that's 10 minutes of their life, so long of mine, and then it's really like, it's a gamble, honestly. And I think that in of itself, reading it initially would intimidate me, but super helpful to get like an inside scoop on what it really takes to get into the college of your dreams.
No, I think I mean, honestly, like I'm not even I've graduated. Like I have a degree, and that intimidated me
like
a
that
little
made
bit.
me nervous.
But I think that the key portion of something that I also just got out of it is just to remember that obviously there's like a set. I think the great thing about this is the overall like dynamics and like arch of what she's saying is general for everyone. So like she knows, like you know that they're probably reading through the same way. Mm-hmm. The timing is probably the same. I think it's important to take into some consideration that maybe some of this could be personal preference.
For sure.
Like again, like every single person is different. Your essay could stand out to one person and not stand out to another.
I think it's also nice to hear, at least like, I don't know, I didn't know this, that you're kind of competing against people that are on your same level, and you're not competing against someone who went to like a private school versus like a public school and whatnot. I think that's not like a little refreshing to hear, because I didn't know that personally. I thought you were competing against everyone. Yeah, I do think that it's nice that you definitely have to take into consideration that even at a public school level, it's supposed to be a standard.
Mm-hmm. Public schools across the country are not standardized when it comes to the level of learning that you can get, like especially since APs are not offered everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so I think that she really puts into context that like she's going to be looking at you with your peers and the people around you and or similar schools.
Same school, yeah.
I think something that I would also kind of like to point out and bring out to the kind of students is like, I think that it kind of reinvigorated the fact of how important your college essay is.
Right.
Like genuinely, like I think that while she's like very straight to the point and maybe comes off a little bit harsh, she's actually just trying to show you that like this is something that you should take your time on and make sure that it's something that you feel proud of. I also think the idea that it's like, I agree with her initial statement of the idea that like you're trying to see if like you would be a good fit on your campus. The one thing that I will say though is like I find it a little bit interesting that she was like whether or not you'd fit into like the major and stuff, because I didn't really view the college essay like that. I actually viewed it more as like the campus culture, like the ideals that the campus like are you a good fit there?
Right.
Because I didn't really bring up my I didn't bring up my major.
Yeah.
Maybe the idea that I was super interested in like the economic dynamics of my town, like how tourism affected it, like that was kind of a portion of my essay. They could see that I was like wanting to be politically involved. But like I think that honestly, like this is just really great to have to fine-tune things and look at your application. Maybe don't read this right before the like do some stuff first and like do what feels comfortable for you, but this is like a great information to like fine-tune.
I mean, also, like, just if you don't have like a lot of extracurriculars, maybe get some more, because they are important and they do like draw more attention in.
I also think out of the box when it comes to extracurriculars.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it
not
doesn't
like
have to be
necessarily
sports.
a sport, like clubs. You can do things outside of your school even. Like that can still count as an extracurricular, like volunteering and whatnot. Like that is still, I think that's like a nice little oomph to your application.
I feel like they just want to see commitment, passion.
They just want you to do something. They just want you to be active in your community, and like they want to know that you will be a good student as well as just like another person on the campus.
Yeah, like a community member.
Community
campuses
member.
Truly are community members.
It's your home for the next 4 years.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. I think that was nice. I think that was informative. I hope that you guys got a lot out of it, and I hope that in this season of college applications, it's okay to feel the stress, but don't let that completely, take over.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I think that honestly, like, the biggest thing that you can showcase is yourself. And, like, as a reminder, like, what you've done in the last 4 years is, like, what you've done, and just make sure that you can kind of show it to people in the best way possible. And you're going to find your fit. And there's so many great schools out there. And there's so many different people that are going to be reading your stuff. And when the school also sees that you're a great fit, that probably means that you're going to be accepted into somewhere that you like. And so if you don't get accepted, sometimes that's a blessing in disguise. Like, it literally, you'll figure
it'll
it out.
work out in the end.
Yeah, because we're just doing
just because we're all just doing our best.
Yeah, we're just because genuinely, like, I feel like it sounds corny every time we say it, but we are truly just doing our best. So yeah, we're really excited for you guys. If you need help and you're in the San Diego area, we're going to start offering some writing help workshops and stuff like that. So
if you want to fine tune your essays, your resumes.
Yeah, we would love to talk to you. If you have any questions, advice, you need help, you just need to talk to someone, we're here.
Our emails are on the website.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.